Why, oh, why did you have to leave us? Hey there, good morning. It's Greg Flanagan here, Fridays with Flanagan. If it's Friday and it's 11 o'clock, this must be Fridays with Flanagan. Welcome. We're in Charleston, South Carolina. You know what? It's a beautiful morning out there, even though we're going to get a little bit of thunder and lightning throughout the day. You can't beat the weather here. It's a beautiful place. If you have any clients that you'd like to refer to us, that's great. That's FlanaganHomeTeam.com, scsold.com, Greg at FlanaganHomeTeam.com. But enough of that. We come to you each week because I'm passionate about helping newer agents and agents that are in transition from like solo into a team, helping them gain a little bit more confidence, a little bit more skill level, just answer questions about what's going on in the market, in their business. I've been through, this is my 15th or 16th year coming up, and been through a lot. Hey, you know what? I was a solo agent. I've been a team leader. I've been a team member, and everyone's got its different points. And having tried all that, I think what I try to bring to you every week is how, number one, how to get to where you need to be profitable and making a living at real estate. And number two, how to get there without losing a lot of money. And I'll be honest with you, over the years, I've lost a lot of money. I make a joke of it, but it's actually a true statement. In my budget, I used to budget $10,000 a year for mistakes. And that was true because, you know, you get these phone calls from people, and this looks great, and that looks great, and let me try this, and let me try that. And you spend the money because you just had a closing or you got a little bit of money in the bank. And you spend that money and nothing happens. And you find that $5,000 or $10,000 or $1,000 or even a $5 ad that didn't work is an expensive ad. You find that you spent that money and you're getting no return on your investment. So that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you get through those hurdles, to answer the questions. Hey, did you ever run across? Yes, I did. Have you ever done this? Of course I have. I've done it pretty much. There's not a lot I haven't done. I learn constantly every day. I think one of the biggest changes in my business has been through my mindset. Early on, I was very transactional, and actually most of my career as a salesperson, I was very transactional in what I did. It was go out there, grind, make money, and, bring it home, kill it, bring it home, eat it, and then go out and kill something else. About 10, 12 years ago, I started realizing that you got to like people, number one, and you got to take care of those people that you've serviced in the past. How to do that when your mind is constantly looking forward at the money issue of it is quite the predicament a lot of people find themselves in. So the mindset piece came into play, and there's all kinds of great quotes from great people that are thinkers, smarter than I am, and that's the most important thing. Don't be the smartest guy in the room, right? And that's what I don't want to be. I want to share what I know, but if you know something that I don't, I'm happy to receive it. Please put it in the chat. One of the guys that I kind of like is Napoleon Hill. And let me read this out to you. We are the masters of our fate, the captains of our souls, because we have the power to control our thoughts. And that's from Napoleon Hill. And Napoleon Hill was a feller back in the early 1900s who wrote a book called Think and Grow Rich. He had interviewed a bunch of millionaires at the time, and he had found they all had one thing in common, that they thought powerfully. They thought they thought that they were going to win, so they did win. Henry Ford said it years ago. He said, think you can, or if you think you can't, you probably will. Right? So if you get up in the morning and you go, I can't do this again, you're not going to do it. But if you get up in the morning ready to take on the world, you're going to do it because that's your intention. You have to. Last week we talked about affirming your intention, and that's the important part. Affirm your intention. I'm going to get up today and I'm going to take a listing. Focus on that. I'm going to get up today, I'm going to take a listing. I'm going to get up today, I'm going to take a listing. And if you keep telling yourself that, you are going to take a listing sometime today. It might not be because you called somebody up and said, hey, do you want to list your house with me? No. It might just be that somebody else has picked up your thoughts and said, I think I'm going to list with Greg. It happens every day. It happened again today. And it happened 2 days ago. And it keeps happening because those are my intentions. I'm going to get up and I'm going to make a headway here. So make sure you're affirming your intentions when you get up in the morning. Now, if you don't know, and I'm sorry folks, this is a little disjointed today because there's so much I want to tell you. We're coming up on the 4th of July. And in America, that's a pretty big, Declaration of Independence written, July 2nd? Today? Is today the 2nd? Yeah, I think so. It was actually written today and ratified on the 6th, eventually. Those guys had a mindset of winning, right? They had a problem. They thought about the problem. They got together. They collaborated, and they were there to win. And they had a new thought process, a new paradigm, how they wanted to live. And I think when we come from, especially newer agents, when you come from a consumer attitude, where for the last 30 years I've been a consumer, I've bought things. Now I've got to come into being a producer. Back then you were consuming, people were paying you money to work by the hour. Now you're starting to produce. You have to be the producer. You're producing your own money. You have to build your own life, and that's what these guys in the Constitution did. They built a new life, and that's what you have to do when you make this. It's what you should do. You don't have to do a damn thing I tell you, but that's what you should do. Okay, so whether it's the Constitution of the United States, the Declaration of Independence of the United States, not the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, where they thought differently, you've got to change your mind. You got to change your stinking thinking. I love my stinking thinking. You got to change that, and you got to think positive. There's a great book out there. It's The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. If you haven't read it, it's a small parable. It's a great little book, and it's really cool. He's got 4 agreements. I'm just going to go through them real quick. The first one is be impeccable with your word. Now, most people take that as saying, don't beat up somebody else. Promises, keep them. Be a man of your word. It's a little bit deeper than that, though. Be impeccable with your word to yourself. When you talk to yourself, what are you telling yourself? Honestly, what are you telling yourself? Would you actually say these things to your kid? Here's a great one. Would you allow me to come to your home and teach your kids they're worthless, that they'll never aspire to anything and struggle in their life? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't do that. Of course you wouldn't. And that's the same thing. Why are you beating yourself up? What are you spending your energy on? You get up in the morning and go, I got to lead generate. How am I going to do that? Well, you should have figured that out the day before. But if you got to get up and make calls, then darn it, get up and make calls, because you're going to spend more energy going, well, what if the guy doesn't pick up? What is it? All this nonsense that goes on in your head. That's just your brain talking to the other side of your brain. That's all it is. It's just making up this story so that you don't feel any pain. Get over it, right? Get over it. You've got to stop. You've got to get yourself to the point of saying, stop talking to yourself, Greg. I do it. I do it all the time. Hey, procrastination, #1 offender, right? But I've got to stop my brain from talking, and I've got to say, okay, let's go forward. This is not going to kill you. It's going to make you better. We're going to make more money. We're going to have more friends. We're going to have whatever that is that my brain is saying don't do, because, or but. I've got to have that conversation in my brain. Your brain, you've got to talk to your own brain. It's kind of crazy, I know, a little out there, but think about it. When you're driving down the road, what is your brain telling you? Oh, there's a nice tree. Oh, there's a car accident up ahead. Oh, I ought to switch over lanes because this guy's not moving fast enough. That's your brain just commenting on the world. and putting it into your, it's not you, it's not nothing to do with you. It's just information coming in. And you are the master of your thoughts, right? You're the master of your fate and the captain of your soul, because we have the power to control our thoughts. So as you go down the road and you see a guy in front of you is slow, instead of saying, well, you dirty SOB, you go, oh, that's who he is, noted. Let me not get upset about this, because I'm mastering my thoughts. And that's the same way with lead generation. I see a lot of agents fail because they will not lead generate. They think it's below them, beneath them. They think they're embarrassed. They're worried about what other people say to them. And that's the next thing here. Don't take anything personally, right? The next agreement is don't take anything personally. And that includes what people have to say about you. Who cares? That's not you. That's them reflecting onto you, right? Greg, you're fat. Yeah, okay. That's great. That's your opinion. Now, of course, if the guy was 550 pounds, I'm skinny. Think about that. It's all perspective, but it's not your perspective. It's their perspective. Okay? So don't take anything personally. It's just chatter, man. It's just the world. It's not you. So if you're on the phone or you're meeting somebody and they go, no, we don't want to list with you. Of course, you're going to get a little deeper. You're going to try to, get into the objection, deflections, and understanding and curiosity mind of why, what makes you not want to be with me, list with me, and let them tell you. But don't take it personal. It's just them. They have something else in their mind that they want to do, and that's fine. Okay? It makes for a quieter life, makes for an easier job. I've talked to, I have an old friend who was a telemarketer for years, and he was a good telemarketer. He was around for years. This was his career. A lot of people don't think telemarketers have careers, but they do, and they get very good at it as they master the craft of telemarketing. One of the things they master is that they don't take anything personally. They don't care what you call them, hang up, rail about. They really don't care. All they care about is that they get on to the next call. And at the end of the day, they can have a beer and go home. So don't take anything personal. It will slow you down. Once you get this in your mind and you control your thoughts on this, you're going to be so much, you're going to love yourself. The next one is don't make any assumptions. There's always the old one, right? What happens when you assume? You make an ass out of you and me, right? That I've had that since I was growing up. Don't assume. A lot of things happen, and this is my experience with this. A lot of things happen when we do assume. We're actually telling ourselves a story. Again, our mind, right? Our mind is telling us this story that we're assuming that's what we're assuming that's what she meant. We're assuming he did this to hurt me. As you assume, your mind again is just giving you this dialogue, and you have to stop and consciously stop and say, Greg, that's not what's going on. That's not what's going on. Let me find out what's happening. And this comes into play when we're dealing with people that don't want to talk to us, clients that are, mad at us, what different things as we go through our daily days as real estate agents. You're going to lose deals because you're assuming that the guy on the other end is an idiot. You're assuming that he wants everything. What you're not doing is asking him curiously and going deeper and saying, hey, Bob Agent, what can I do for you? What's making you have this opinion? What's making you have this attitude? What have I done that has affected this relationship? Because I really do want this to be a clean, easy deal for the two of us. Don't make the assumptions. Go in there and ask them directly. And maybe they are an idiot, but what are you going to do? At least you know it at the end of the day. Okay, so save your assumptions, control your thoughts, have that conversation, that inner brain conversation about, hey, let's find out what is going on before I assume something. Years ago, I had an agent come into my office, all worried about this deal falling apart, and because of a roof. I think some of you've heard this story before. And I mean, he was visibly upset. He was physically blushing and flushed, and he's going on about this roof. And I looked at him and I said, "So what's wrong with the roof?" He goes, "I don't know." Well, what's this whole story about then? What's the story? It comes down to, the story is, I'm in there somewhere, there you go. It comes down to, he was telling himself a story, right? But he didn't have the control of his thoughts to say, hey, Bob, stop. I have no idea what that story is. Let's find out where we're supposed to go. Okay? So don't make assumptions. The fourth agreement is always do your best. What is your best? Real subjective. Is your best the same as my best? Probably not, because you are your own person. Okay? And what this tells us is, I'm going to do my best to the point that I can, when I finish whatever job, detail, conversation, you know what? That was my best. That was my best I could do. Could I do better? Maybe. But at that time, at that moment, that was the best I did with the information I had. That was the best. Where does this come in on our real estate? It comes in. It comes in when you're interviewing clients on a needs and wants, right? What is your best? My best would be, I know how to do my LP Mama, right? Location, price, agent. Wow. Location, price, motivation, agent, mortgage, and appointment. Those are things that, when you do your best, those are all answered when you come off a telephone call. Those are all answered when you do your interview. You know these people deeply. You've made that connection with them. You've made that, we call it the KLT, know, like, and trust. This is your initial time to do your best. Your best should be in that initial point of gaining that trust and getting them to like you, and giving them a little bit about yourself so that they know you, right? And KLT, know, like, and trust. It's the way all sales work, majority, unless you're at McDonald's. Always do your best when you're going in there and you're doing this. I think the most important part of our job is lead generation, follow-up, and understanding who you're dealing with. So practice more on that, especially if you're new. Any questions on those? Perfect. So the next slide is we need a positive mindset. That's what this whole thing's about. We've got to get a calm, positive mindset to work well within our business. In Psalm 23:7, as you think, so you are. Perfect psalm to go and say, if you're thinking that you're lousy at what you do, if you're thinking that you can't do it, if you're thinking that, if you're dreading getting up in the morning, well, you know what? Either change your mind, change your thinking, or get out of business. Get out of the business. Come on. Whatever business you're in, whether it's real estate, whether it's accounting, if you dread getting up in the morning and going to work, don't be in that business. I think with the pandemic, a lot of people are getting onto this, in that they realize that, number one, I hate commuting to work, and number two, I hate the people that I work with. Why am I working there? And have gone through this transformation, going, I'm going to work for myself. I got good skills, and that's like most real estate agents do now. They work for themselves. They got good skills, but if you're dreading getting up, you're in the wrong job. Think big, think bigger, do bigger, and earn bigger. So. We speak to ourselves. We went over this already. back to this. The bottoms, and I'm sorry, these are prompts for me, folks, and they're good for you too. Start using empowering words. A lot of people are not using empowering words. What are empowering words? And I'm guilty of this myself. I get a little lazy. I know people, and they're some of the brightest people I know. Their main word is fantastic. And I can hear that word over and over and over again from their mouths, and it's authentic. That's fantastic. I really love the way you do that. That's great. Wonderful. Fabulous. These are empowering words. I put a www.wildsimplejoy.com, the most empowering words. It's a young lady who put together, I think, 120 words that if you work them into your conversation, there's just no way that you can have a positive attitude. So work with her. Anybody got anything that I should be covering? Okay. We're going into the 4th of July weekend. Where are we? Fridays with Flanagan goes live every Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And we are using StreamYard. So if you want to be part of the StreamYard chain and get on camera with me, you're welcome to. They allow us to get 10 people in there. You just have to sign up for StreamYard. There's no downloads or anything else. Really nice platform. And you can go across. Use it for your own business. Listen, Fridays with Flanagan. I run a separate business called Power Onward, mastermind.com. And in there we have all kinds of free resources for people like you. Right now we have 25 most frequently used objection handlers. You sign up, and Nathana will send you a copy of that. Pretty much everything that you run into on a daily basis is in that compilation of not only my scripts but other people's scripts. Big producers out there that in our business we call it R&D, rip off and duplicate. I give credit where credit's due. So the Tim Hiles and Jeff Glovers and the guys that really are the powerhouses here, I give them all the credit. So we've had a great day, great week. Here in the United States, for those people in Canada and the Philippines, we are celebrating 4th of July this week. It's all about the Declaration of Independence, James Madison, Thomas Jefferson, all kinds of, John Hancock. There was a guy, I'm Irish, as you all know, Flanagan, right? There was a signer from South Carolina, and his name was Thomas Lynch. I believe his name was Thomas Lynch. It was definitely a Lynch. And Lynch in Ireland was a fisherman. That was the definition of his name. It was actually Linsky at one time. And I went back, and I'm a genealogist. I went back and I looked at him, and it's amazing how we overcome things throughout the centuries. He didn't come from Ireland. His father came from Galway, which is on the western coast, and his father before him, and the struggles that they saw as they came over, tying it into this, they had to cross the sea to come to America. They had no idea what was on the other side, but their mind said, we got to go. And I'm sure that somewhere in this, in that hundreds of years, there were all kinds of problems, all kinds of roadblocks and obstacles, death-defying feats that had to be done. And it makes us pale in comparison to, we can't pick up a phone to call somebody as far as lead generation. We can't knock on a door because we're afraid of what? Don't be afraid of anything. That's just your mind. That's just your mind saying, I'm not good enough. Well, I am good enough, damn it, and I'm going to do it. I've been doing this broadcast for over 2 years. Do I get a lot of people? No. But my mind says I have to do this. I feel the passion to do it. So get over yourself. Get over your mind. Stay humble. Stay prosperous. If you need me, drop me a line. There's a Calendly link here somewhere. Feel free to drop me a line. God bless. Be prosperous. Have a good week.